What's going on, NFL fans? It is Sunday, February 1st, 2015. It's the NFLExporter, and we are getting ready for the big Super Bowl matchup this evening between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. And I just wanted to chime in for my prediction for the big game this evening. This is the final and last game of the 2014-15 regular season, and this game features the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. I like the Seattle Seahawks to win this game. When it comes to any football game, especially a championship game of this magnitude, there's no question. Things like turnovers, penalties, special teams certainly can factor in and have a huge effect on the game. But I think if those miscellaneous categories balance themselves out, I think the Seattle Seahawks, and particularly their defense, has certainly been more consistent, especially the second half of the season, where they have rounded back into championship form. I think it was real pivotal and crucial in that NFC Championship game. That's something that was certainly a big deal that a lot of people maybe didn't focus in on. But the Green Bay Packers had two first and goal situations from inside the 5-yard line, and it was Seattle's stingy defense that was able to keep Green Bay out of the end zone on the first 3 downs. Now, obviously, Green Bay, playing with scared money, elected to go for a field goal, so that was more or less the Green Bay Packers' decision, as opposed to Seattle stopping them on all 4 downs. We all know by now that Green Bay basically kicking field goals on a 4th and an inch instead of trying to get a touchdown in. But nonetheless, the Seattle Seahawks defense, the second half of the season, really rounded back in the championship form. When I look at the Patriots defense, it's been inconsistent. And not only in their 4 losses this season, if you also recall their home win over the Oakland Raiders, which they barely beat the Raiders 16-9, and then also the 2 games that they barely beat the New York Jets. Both of those games they could have easily lost if it weren't for some silly miscues by the Jets at the end of those games. But in all of those games, 2 things that I noticed that happened for New England: they were not able to run the football. The opposing team was able to run the football down their throat. And then you had wide receivers from these opposing teams running wide open through the New England Patriots secondary. The New England Patriots have really struggled to muster up a pass rush at various times throughout the course of the season. I think when you look on the offensive side of the football for New England, they certainly have some guys that I assume they're going to try to get some mismatches going with. I'm talking about Shane Vereen out of the backfield. I really don't see too many teams try to attack Seattle secondary or linebackers with running backs out of the backfield. We all know that Rob Gronkowski is a nightmare and mismatch for any defense that he's playing against. And then Julian Edelman seems to always be a wild card in a situation. He's a guy who doesn't usually burn you with vertical speed, but certainly a player with a lot of quickness and agility once he gets the football in his hands on the short and intermediate pass routes. But at the end of the day, I think New England, if everything holds true to form, they're going to have a very difficult time running the football, which is going to leave Tom Brady in a situation where he has to drop back and pass a lot. And if you know anything about the Seattle Seahawks defense that makes them one of the elite and best in the NFL over the last couple years, most teams have one weakness on defense, whether it's a stout run defense and their secondary is bad. We've certainly seen New England take advantage of that against the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens boasted a top 10 run defense this year. New England was unable to run the football against them, but the Ravens secondary is very bad. And New England was able to exploit that. It's the exact opposite with the Seattle Seahawks. This is a team that stops the run, ended the season ranked 3rd against the run. But when you can't run the football, it actually plays into their strong suit, which is their pass defense. With guys like Bruce Irvin and Cliff Averill, we know that they can get after the passer. And then if you look at their secondary, the Legion of Boom, which is the strong suit of this defense, ranked 1st in the NFL against the pass. And so I think New England is going to have a difficult time moving the football. Yes, I know that Bill Belichick and Tom Brady have had 2 weeks to game plan for this game. And against most teams, you certainly would like your chances with New England when Belichick and Brady have that much time. But Seattle's defense, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman, those guys who lead that Legion of Boom secondary, Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, the guys who hold things down in that front 7 there. Not only do these guys have the physical tools, these are guys who spend a lot of time in the film room. So just as much as Tom Brady and Bill Belichick have been formulating game plans and strategies to attack Seattle's defense. The Seahawks defense has certainly had an opportunity to come up with a game plan to stop Tom Brady and company as well. Marshawn Lynch, I think he'll have a good game running the football. And I think the wild card in this situation, as I mentioned to you as well, is that New England has really struggled to get a pass rush at different times during the season. When I look at guys in their front seven, not the athletic guys like Clay Matthews Jr., Julius Peppers, the guys that Green Bay brought to the table that were able to contain Russell Wilson from running once plays break down. When you look at the Patriots, you have older, slow guys, Vince Wilfork, Rob Ninkovich, Chandler Jones. These guys really not only have trouble sometimes getting to the passer, but I think Russell Wilson, once the initial coverage breaks down, will have an opportunity to scramble and pick up some huge chunks of yardage on the ground as well. I think Akeem Ayers is the guy you want to look at who could have an effect on spying on Russell Wilson to try to keep him under control. But I think when the scales all balance out, I think the Seattle Seahawks are plain and simple the better football team. And like I said, unless it's a situation where turnovers, penalties, and special teams play really factor in, I think the Seattle Seahawks find a way to win this football game. I just look at the matchup, and I think that Seattle brings a lot of the same issues to the table that New England had trouble with during the regular season, and particularly when you look at their games against Miami, Kansas City, those two games against the Jets. Again, Seattle's ability to run the football effectively, New England's lack of ability to run the football, and we know when Tom Brady gets one-dimensional, we've seen it in the past. These teams who can provide a big-time pass rush certainly know how to get after Tom Brady early and often. Should be a great game. I hope everybody enjoys it. I'll be anxious to hear your feedback about this one. It's the NFL Exporter signing out 1100.